Hey guys, welcome back. This is week 2. I hope you had a great week 1. As I mentioned last week, the goal is to minimize resistance in the body and address some of the weak links. Now, through last week's workouts, I'm sure you found some of the movements might come a little bit easier for you and some not so. Not to worry, although I've designed this program in such a way that it's a very gradual progression throughout the 30 days, you can always revisit any of the workouts that we've done before that you think that you need work on. Because remember, one of the goals is to get more confident and stronger in some of the movements and opening up the body. So if you feel like any workouts that, hey, I think I need more of that, feel free to go back and work on that. You know, there's no shame in taking 2 steps back because it's going to help you take 5 steps forward later on. Okay? So this week, what we're going to do is largely focusing on the similar movement patterns we've explored last week, but I've added on a few extra things just to push ourselves a little bit more. So I hope you're ready because it's going to be a good one. All right, let's start. We're going to warm up our wrist first, planting the hands shoulder width apart, fingers pointing to the side, and we're just going to move our body in a circular motion and gradually loading our wrists with our body weight. And this gradual loading, take it nice and slow and then change directions after a few rounds. It's just to prep our wrists because we'll be on our hands, our feet today quite a bit. So take it slow. And then next we're gonna plant our hands in such a way where our fingers are pointing in towards us, and we're gonna just peel off the palms, having our fingers remain as we sit back. So we're gonna peel it off, sit back, and replant it. Peel it off, sit back, and replanting it. Now hold. Feel the deep stretch in the forearms and the wrists and the fingers. And now we're going to turn the tops of our hands onto the mat, and we're going to turn our arms where our crux of elbows should face forward and unturn it where our elbows will face outward to the sides. So we're just going to, in this rotational fashion for our arms, and then holding it with our crux of elbow facing forward and then coming off it. Now we're going to move into a tabletop position where our knees are below our hips, set up nicely where our wrist is directly below our shoulders. Moving into some cat-cows, dropping the belly, hips back, and then sending the gaze up as you inhale. Exhale, tuck the hips in, look between the knees, round the upper back. Nice and slow. Remember, the movement is in sync. Everything kind of happens at the same time. Belly dropping, hips tucking out, chest pointing forward and then gazing up as you inhale, and as you reverse, tucking the hips back in, hollowing the chest, look between the knees. You should feel the back stretch. Yes, good. Remember, inhale to come into a cow pose, exhale as you come into a cat pose. So this is a very nice movement just to warm up the spine, getting in a lot of flexion and extension into it. But next, what we're going to do is the side to side, looking over the shoulder, lateral bends. So take a peek at the shoulder as you pop the hip to the side. You should feel one side stretching and one side crunching. Good. Just doing about 10 total. Looking over the shoulder and coming back to the center. Now next, we're going to combine the 2 movements and do this full articulation of the spine in this cat-cow wave-like motion. So notice I'm going from the left to the right, but I'm also extending and flexing the spine and then changing direction. So it is like a cat-cow, but you know, we're moving through a circular motion. So now you're getting everything involved. Multi-angle, multi-range. Good. Doing just a few here. Good. Coming back, we're going to do bird dogs now, extending the right arm and the left leg. Now we're going to bend the elbow to touch the knee, crunching in, and sending the hand and foot out to the side, further out, for about 15 degrees with each rep. So you should take about 5 reps to get all the way out furthest, which is about 90 degrees to the side, and then coming back, starting with straightforward, back and forth again, like your normal bird dogs. Working towards out the side. The 5th rep, you should go out 90 degrees and coming back to the center. Changing sides, so left arm, right leg now. Extend forward and back. Knee, elbow tap, send it out to the side. Knee, elbow tap, and then sending out further. and further. You gotta watch your balance here, because if not, you might fall over, like how I am doing here. And the last one, and going another 5, knee elbow taps, starting from the beginning again, out to the side, gets progressively harder, and on the 5th rep, really try and reach out to the side, and come back to center. Whew. Well done. If you feel your hips cramping up a little bit, that's because when you try to reach out to the side, yeah, that tends to happen. Alright, child's pose, taking a break. We will now move on to our static bear crawls hold coupled with some back bends. So we're going to still stay on the mat actually. I got confused there a little bit. And we're going to come to tabletop position and bring the knees off, just gently hovering above the mat. Really keep the knees stable, directly below the hips. Spread the fingers, make sure you're pressing really hard into your palms, hollowing out the chest slightly, drawing the navel in, and just breathe and hold this position. A lot in the hips that you have to stabilize. Keep breathing and set the knees down. Alright, coming into your back bends, hand behind the lower back. Gently shift the hips and the thighs forward as you drop the upper back down. Again, we're gently easing into it. This is just a counter, as we would say, on the bear crawl position that we established earlier on. Alright, second round. We'll just go for one more static bear crawl hold. Once again, tabletop position and knees off. We're going to hold here. So notice you can actually shift a little bit forward and back in this position. Like when I mean static, just means the position is holding, but you can actually bend your knees and shift your arms back a little bit. Your palms and your feet stay, and you work everything else. Again, being very mindful, we're gently just shifting back and forth, and we can set the knees down now. Good job. Alright, one more back bend. Hands behind the lower back. Really tuck that tailbone in and shift the hips forward and down, dropping it back a little bit by bit. Second round, exhale to drop. And maybe one more. And slowly raise the chest, spread it, and tilt the hip back slightly. Good. Now we're going to come off the mat and we're going to actually start crawling. So today we're going to follow up on last week's bear crawl pattern. We'll start with that, and then we're going to move on to more fun stuff. So come into your tabletop position, hands shoulder width apart, and come into your static bear crawl position as you establish it. Lift off. Now left hand, right foot. Notice I'm doing a bit of a marching sort of pace. So if you want to make this a little bit harder, try minimizing the time spent on all fours. So meaning whenever the two limbs come, you immediately switch the other two to come off. Right? So that's a bit of like a march happening, and you're spending more time on the opposite twos rather than all fours. Now shift backwards, moving with bear crawls. The back is usually a bit more confusing for most people because we're just not used to moving backwards, right? It's hard to walk backwards, so it's also going to be quite hard to walk. See, I'm a little confused there now. All right, let's take a quick break. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do a side bear crawl. Now notice my knees are together, hands apart. And as I shift, we're going to plant the hands together and the knees are going to go apart. So this is a sideways or a lateral crawl in a bear crawl position. Okay, so keep going. So always making sure that if your palms are meeting, your knees are apart. If your knees are together, palms are apart. Again, the upper torso is gradually just gliding through the air. If you're struggling, I don't blame you. These are hard. Nice and slow. Try to come back. Stay with me. Keep going, keep going. You're moving to your left now. Moving to your left. Shift, shift, shift. And you can rest. Yes, even I need a breath too, because these are tough. These are not easy. Maybe shake off the wrists. Give it some love, as I like to say. We're going to go for another round after this. So, just be wary that when you're doing this bear crawl, you don't want to stomp your hands on the ground. Make it very nice and soft when you plant it. Think planting, right? So like a ninja, and not creating that much noise. Okay, crawling forward now. And let's crawl backwards. Gently moving opposite sides of the limbs, nice and slow. And now we're gonna go sideways. So what's gonna happen is we just shifted into a sideways transition and coming back the other side. So think of drawing a rectangular shape, right? So you're gonna move up forward and then draw out to the side, going towards the left because that's the space that I have for you to see me on camera. And now I'm going backwards and I'm gonna come to my right as I lateral crawl. So I'm actually drawing a rectangular shape with the crawling pattern. Yeah, you can see it is quite taxing. It looks easy, but you can get a workout out of it for sure. Okay, come back onto the mat, come into your squat position. We're gonna work on our squat routine, so we're gonna gently just open up that left hip first. Remember, what I emphasized on last week is that you want to activate the thigh to go back and out, allowing the foot to come to the outer edges, and then the hand just gently nudges it, gives it a nice nudge so you actually get a stretch at the end. We're going to hold here now. Good. And come off it. So the other side, right? Knees going back and out. Again, I'm not completely reliant on my right arm to extend to press. My leg is actually going in that direction actively, and my hand is just providing a gentle nudge at the end so that I can increase my end range. All right, hold. Breathe. And you can release. Good. Now we're going to go to the rotations with the extension of the arm. Start with the left side, reach up and twist and reach, twist and reach. So inhale to raise up and come back down, raise up and back down. Doing a few more reps here. Really focus on twisting the torso before exposing that arm. So you want to expose the chest and the shoulders first before the arm goes up. Good. Hold. And release. Change sides. Left hand on right ankle now. Reach up, twist, and reach. Good. Try to look up to the thumb as well, because that will really force your torso to twist maximally. And raise up, reach. Raise up and reach. Good. So over time, this will become quite easy, and then you don't have to do it as much anymore. We're going to hold here. See, mobility is one of those things that once you've gained it, you just have to do some maintenance work to make sure that you keep it. All right, so we started last week with thumbs stacking on each other. This week we're going to try thumbs level and fold down, touching our forehead onto it. Exhale and fold. Good. So your butt will come up, but don't let it come too high up. You want to extend from the lower back, from the trunk, and make sure your feet stays firm on the ground as you reach forward and fold, touch, and release. Touch and release. Keep going and hold. Make sure you feel like you're pressing your belly down towards the ground as you extend from the lower back and release. Good job. Okay, let's bring our mat back. Coming to our windshield wipers. Now last week we used the hands for support. This week we're not going to. So we're going to lift our arms up, extend it forward, and twist side to side. Making sure our knees are 90 degrees, coming back to the center, and then on to the other side, rolling onto the outer edges of the feet. So make sure you anchor the feet down as you don't slide as you keep doing these. You should always remain in the same position, only the hips, the lower body is changing position. Good. Remember, we're not looking to slam the knees onto the ground. We're just working to whatever range that is available to us right now. So nice and slow. And we're going to come back here. And we're going to hold this stretch now. And you're going to twist away from that front leg, making sure that the back leg, if it's too uncomfortable, you can bend the knees a little bit more. Otherwise, hold and change sides. So we're twisting away or actually towards that back leg. And release. Good. Next, we're gonna move back into our crawling pattern. This time it's the crab crawl. So we will also be exploring sideways crawling or lateral crawls, but today let's start with the frontal ones. So same thing, you're gonna establish your crab position, lift the butt off, and then start moving, coordinating opposite limbs to move forward, and then allow that upper body to glide, right? Feel like you're gliding. Going back is always tricky, more so in this crab crawl, I feel, because it's really hard to not stomp the hands, as it's very tempting to do so. Also because there's very little awareness of what's happening behind. Okay, come forward again and rest. Take a break. Now we're gonna establish our crab position. I'm facing the camera. You don't have to do exactly how I do, but we do have to establish similarly to the bear crawl, bringing our feet together, hands apart, so that it allows us to traverse sideways. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you're going left or right side. We're just gonna go side to side first. So keep moving again, allowing the body to glide through air and understanding how much distance you need to plant, right? That's always the tricky thing, trying to manage the weight, especially now you're going sideways. It's gonna throw you off a little bit. So move slowly, move mindfully. Shake out those wrists. Yes, I am also feeling it. Okay, now we're gonna draw a rectangular shape. So we're gonna lift the butt, travel forward first. Once we do a few reps, now we're gonna go sideways. Doesn't matter which side you go to, but you just have to remember you're drawing a rectangular shape with the pattern. Okay, good. Working on the balance. It's gonna really work make your triceps burn quite a bit. And coming back to the center, finishing up. And you can rest. And a rest much deserved, I might add. Congratulations. Well done, guys. Okay, let's bring the mat back. I'm sure that is welcomed. And we're going to come on to it to start our bridge routine and work ourselves into a full bridge position, which means we actually have to plant our hands and push up simultaneously, the hands and feet at the same time to come to this position. All right? But we're going to start with our basic bridge work, which we did last week. And just remember, if full bridge position is something that you don't feel confident and you don't feel like you want to attempt it this time, it's fine. You can come to your normal bridge work. So we set ourselves up, making sure the feet shoulder width apart, squeezing the buttocks and lifting the hips up. We really want to try and tuck the tailbone, creating a lot of space in the lower back, while actually tensing up the glutes and the hamstrings and sending the hips up towards the ceiling. And press your shoulders into the mat as you do so. So it's a front opener. You should feel a little bit of that already, but it's going to get more intense of how open your chest and shoulders are going to feel when you get into a full bridge. Okay? So nice and slow. Inhale to lift, squeeze the butt, making sure you engage your inner thighs as well. Well done. Hug the knees in. That was 10 reps. Or so, I think. I will show you how to get into a full bridge with the hand position, but I think it's better if I turn around first because my camera is pointing from the other direction. Haha, what a genius I am. Okay, so I'm going to show you, your fingers are actually pointing in towards the shoulder, and as you try to point the elbows up towards the ceiling, and you're going to simultaneously press into the palms and the feet and lift yourself off as high as you can go. Now remember, you want to keep that chest really wide and expanded, and also keep tucking the tailbone in towards the heels, creating more space in that lower back. And nicely tuck the chin in, lower back down, and rest. Good. Now there's actually an easier version, which is tucking your crown in first and then repositioning your hands before sending your way up to a full bridge. Now the reason why I didn't show you early on was because I wanted you to try the harder version, and now this will become, most people will find this a bit easier. Okay, so as you push up, you're going to tuck the head in so that the crown of the head is on the mat, and you're going to find a position where your palms will have a better positioning of pushing up, and then that's where you lift off. Same idea, you want to make sure that there's very little stress in the lower back by loading onto the front thighs and hips and opening up that chest, and down slow. Good job, well done. Maybe hug the knees in, decompress that lower back. I mean, you're gonna get a little bit of compression in the lower back. So if you have lower back problems, I would advise to be very, very careful when you're working on these, okay? Last item of the day, we will do some active stretches. First with the active spinal twists, and then we're gonna roll over onto our bellies, coming to an active scorpion twist. Okay, so start with the right leg. Reach over, see if your hands can touch. Your arms should be in a cross position. And release. Now we're gonna roll over to our belly. And now the right leg's gonna go over to the left side. Try and really actively reach those toes towards the palms. If you're really flexible in your hips, I think you can definitely touch it. And roll back onto your back. Now change the side, so now the left foot goes over to the right side, keeping the shoulders grounded at all times. Again, it's not essential if your toes touch the hands, but it is a good way to keep the stretch active. Okay, so now the left side, coming over to the right. As you can see, my left foot is really trying to reach to my right palm. And release. I think we can go for one more round, right? Come back over, and right side over to the left. Should feel a little bit easier than before. So if you don't want to touch the fingers, just keep it going out towards the side. That will also make it remain active. And I'm having trouble flipping over now. Okay, right foot towards the left side. Extend and release. Roll back for one more round. And active spinal twist, left leg towards the right. Last round. Make it count. So really feel a nice decompression in the lower back when you do this. As you keep that left shoulder grounded, just try and stay relaxed at the same time. And roll over onto the belly. So now the left leg will go and try and reach that foot, bend the knee, reach the foot over to the right. Keeping it active. Hold. And release. Well done. Roll back onto your back. Now we're gonna hug our knees into our chest. This time we're gonna bring our head up, tucking the forehead towards the knees. We're gonna slowly generate this rocking motion. Well, we're gonna keep our lower back, or actually our entire backs rounded like a ball. And that allows us to create this rocking motion as we relax, as we go back. And when we try to come up, feel the abs tightening. So there's bracing and relaxing, bracing and relaxing. So try to not allow the head to flick back too much, right? Because we don't want to create any sort of whiplash. And relax. Close your eyes. We've done 20 of those. Good job, guys. I'll see you in the next workout. Have a good day.